Welcome to Authentic for Brazil 201. I'm here to talk to you about Shedeur Sanders. Now, obviously, the story since Thursday night has been, where will Shedeur Sanders get drafted? And if you said this on Thursday, it would have been like, okay, if he's not picked by the Giants, maybe he'll get picked by the Steelers at round pick 2021. They bypass him. You're like, okay, fine. The teams don't want to draft him in the first round because they don't want the mandatory 5-year deal, and they don't want to reward his bad behavior with that 4-year fully guaranteed contract. A lot of people can be mad about that all they want, but that is a fair analysis of it. And the stories have been coming out that Shedeur has allegedly been a problem in the interviews. He didn't know how to read film or a bunch of other shit. There's been a lot of stories from various teams that are coming out all over Twitter. The other interesting thing with this is that I guess it's more that Travis Hunter made Shedeur. Shedeur didn't make Travis Hunter, which is a valid point. Travis Hunter did go, second overall. We know Travis Hunter is legit. And we also have no idea if he's going to be playing both positions or just one. But either way, then Shedeur fell out of round 2 and 3. We're like, oh, okay, the Steelers or, the Browns or the Saints, somebody's got to draft Shedeur, 2 or 3. Nope, falls out. So now he is just free falling, and it has made, day 3 an interesting thing to watch with Shedeur. A lot of people are like, oh, is this collusion? Like, I asked somebody who said something very, I asked some people who work and who do the NFL draft shit, and I was just, fascinated by a lot of the situation. And they're like, this was like punishment. Like, here's what someone said. Quotation marks, by the way. He believes that maybe the NFL teams colluded to keep Shedeur Sanders out of the first two days of the drafts as a punishment for how he and his family approached the draft process. I kind of buy a part of that. That kind of makes sense. Humble him so he quote unquote behaves. And I do think that if he were to get undrafted, I think maybe the NFL would have faced a Colin Kaepernick style lawsuit for collusion. But in that process, the discovery for when you do a lawsuit like that, the discovery process, all the teams would have had to release their interviews with Shedeur. I assume they're all recorded, so they can watch them back. And then they probably would have also released the Cam Ward ones, the Quentin Ewers one, the other interviews. And if all of them were yeah, this is how Shedeur was behaving during the draft versus how the other quarterbacks were, I don't think that would have been something good to come to light for the Shedeur defenders. Now, should have Shedeur been a top, 20 pick? If you're going to say the Steelers were going to pick him late, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it was just overhyped because of Dion. And maybe teams learned their lesson from the LeVar situation, where I don't know if people remember it, but that Laker team that had Lonzo, LeVar was on FS1, cursing out people, saying Lonzo's the best, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. By the way, Lonzo Ball has he missed 3 years of the NBA, and also LeVar lost a leg, apparently. Now look, Shedeur has been drafted finally in round 5. That's right. They retired, his number 5 jersey because he was going to get drafted in round 5. And I know there's a lot of, things that is Shedeur going to be good. He got drafted to Cleveland in round 5. Cleveland is a disaster, and that quarterback, Deshaun Watson, who's obviously not playing this year because he tore his Achilles in January. So he's obviously out for the entire 2025 NFL season. There's Joe Flacco, who's clearly going to start. There's somebody else. And then there's Shedeur. So Shedeur being in Cleveland, as you know, Cleveland is where quarterbacks go to die and get hurt. So poor Shedeur, who potentially could be out of the league in 2 years because of the Cleveland situation. Now, Shedeur, maybe if he's good or magical, he'll turn Cleveland around and be the face of the franchise. Which really brings another interesting thing is, if Cleveland is picking number 1 again in 2026, Arch Manning ain't coming out. Arch Manning's not living in fucking Cleveland, Ohio, or playing for the fucking Browns, a dysfunctional franchise. And I know a lot of people got a lot of Shedeur takes right now, and some people swear Shedeur is gonna be a Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't believe that. It is funny because I don't know if you've ever seen the show All American on the CW, but Spencer, this is exact same plot line that happened in All American. Spencer was a wide receiver projected to go in the top 7 in the NFL draft. He falls to like round 3, and it's the same issues. He was loud, obnoxious. He was disrespectful during the interviews. But the thing is that in All American, Spencer, as a rookie, ends up winning NFL MVP and NFL Super Bowl MVP, which, by the way, is not happening. Shedeur Sanders is not winning Rookie of the Year over Travis Hunter or, Offensive Player of the Year or any of that. I firmly believe Shedeur is probably just going to be a fun player to use in Madden. And he may have 1 or 2 good games. I just think the memes have been hilarious, and people really just don't know how to react with it. Because, like, Donald Trump is saying, Shedeur Sanders should have been picked in the first round, right? And the other thing is, like, people are like, ESPN's been trying to push Shedeur's great. Then you have Jamal Bowman saying it's racist or whatever, so why people don't want to pick Shedeur and all this nonsense. Jamal Bowman's just an annoying, fat ass. Who gives 2 shit what he has to say? But I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, either way, let it be. Okay, and this is what it is. Shedeur, I guess he can't be a bust now if you're round 5. So congrats. But also, it's funny, Shedeur is not going to make barely any money because I don't even know what the round 5 rookie scale contract is.